everybody, Gabe here. Welcome into the shop. Today we're hanging out in the book corner on a very special July 29th day. And I know what a lot of you are thinking. Special July 29th? What? Is it your birthday? Did I forget some kind of holiday? Like, what? Half Christmas was weeks ago. There's exactly 94 days until Halloween. What are you talking about? To that I say, you are extraordinarily aware of when Halloween is. Kudos to you. And it is actually the beginning of the Autumn Equinox semester at Orilium Academy. That's right. Magical Readathon is back on, baby. So, grab your quills, grab your books, grab your Amilorite foci, stuff them in a trunk. We are off to the magical land of Aeldia. Let's go. And once again we find ourselves in the world of Aeldia, where these 5 continents used to be one until long ago a magical meteor known as the Amilor crashed into the planet and separated them slowly from its epicenter, at the middle of which stood one mountain upon which they built a beautiful magical academy known as Orilium. And this is where people come in from all over the world to study magic. So if you enjoy role-playing games, if you enjoy character creation, if you enjoy readathons, this brings them all together, and it has so much lore and so much world building that is really impressively done by G, who is also known as Book Roast on YouTube. Go ahead and check her out. I'm going to put all of the links in the description. And she also made a Google Drive with all these beautiful PDFs, some of which I'll be using in the video today. This being one of them. A very, very beautiful map. And down here you see Carador. That's where my character's from. I'll go into that a little bit. And yeah. Let's get into character creation. I'll tell you what I did. I'll tell you how I picked my TBR, and hopefully, if you've done it, tell me what you picked down in the comments. Get in on the Discord. I've got a channel reserved just for the Magical Readathon, and yeah, let's have fun with this, guys. Let's check out my character. So here I have my dude Felix. He's a Skymorn. I chose Skymorn because I thought that was one of the really cool contributions that G made to fantasy as a whole. They're a people who are intrinsically tied in with the Amilor, because when it hit, it kind of brought in these entities who were in Wisp form, and they're essentially immortal in that form, but once they are at least 200 years old, they can choose to take another form, like a humanoid form, and they can go about the world and become a part of things on Aeldia. And they can also have the cool little ability to know other Skymorn, even if they're in their Wisp form. Hold up, is that Larry? It is Larry! Which is pretty cool, because most people looking at a Wisp, like, they don't exactly have distinguishing features, so that's pretty neat. Kind of like there's this idea of like there's this soul that a Skymorn has, and they will always recognize the soul in another Skymorn, right? Like, namaste. So they're also like, so in that way they're kind of like aliens, right, to this planet, and they're very curious about it. They're very magically inclined, and I could really relate to that because I feel like an alien to this planet. Being introduced to it by Stacie, being very new to it, being very curious about it. So like I just felt a kinship, with the Skymorn people, and yeah, that's why Felix is a Skymorn. And I decided to make him an Archmage, which essentially are like the wizards of Aeldia. And yeah, why don't we check that out really quick? So here's what the Archmage page looks like. there's this whole description. It's probably too small to read, perhaps, but like I said, there's that Google Drive with all the PDFs in it. When you go through that process, you'll see all the classes, you'll see all the callings, is what they call them. So that's kind of what you're going to be studying at Orilium. And down here, whoa, at the bottom, it shows what you do in the spring equinox and in the autumn equinox. And in the autumn equinox, there's actually like little letters next to the subjects that you're supposed to be studying. And those letters, which is O, Q, and D, denote ordinary, qualified, or distinguished. And what it essentially means is that when you're choosing your books, in order to pass that subject, you need to do 1 book for ordinary, 2 books for qualified, or 3 books for distinguished. And you'd follow the prompts for each of those. So why don't we get into that? Let's check out the syllabus. So on the syllabus here, it gives you all the subjects, and on each of the subjects, there's a prompt each for each grade. So when I said like you need 3, then you would do the prompt for ordinary, then you would do the prompt for qualified, then you would do the prompt for distinguished. So I actually had to do what? So I had to do a D in alchemy, a Q in inscription, O in artificery, and Q in spells and incantations. So how I know that is I made this nifty little Google Notes, or not Google, but Apple Notes thing for my phone, so that I could actually like bring it around with me while I'm looking for books to kind of fulfill these prompts. And also I could like message it off to Stacie and be like, hey, check this out, these are the prompts I need to do. So I'm actually relatively new to the Magical Readathon. I joined back in April for the spring equinox as a surprise for mine and Stacie's anniversary. We really enjoy sharing experiences together. This is something that she's been into for a really long time, and she always likes to share with me her TBRs. And I always try to get her into D&D, and I was like, girl, you're already playing D&D by doing this readathon. Like, I swear you're like doing character creation, you're doing all this stuff. Since I'm sitting there trying to get her to do that, I figured I would join in with her on this, and we can really get into it together. That's how I joined. I kind of wimped out in April though, because I was worried about finals coming up at the end of April. I was like, well, I can't be putting too much on my plate. So I had to read like 5 books for that, and like some of them I made them pretty short. Like one of them was like a Justice League graphic novel, and kept them small. And I ended up finishing like super early, and I was like, oh dang, I could have gone harder than that. For August, I more focused on, instead of how big is this book going to be, I focused on how interested am I in reading this book. And I think it's going to be a really great time. I have a lot of pages to read through. I'll tell you just how many at the end of my TBR. So let's see if I can get through it. While you're actually in the active semester, you log your books, you log your reading. So if you wait until after the semester, or if you're trying to do things that don't count towards that semester, then you can't log those for the semester. You don't really like get credit for them. So they don't count to how much we all read like as a school, right? What you can do is just worry about the August one now. Try to get this semester done, and then when you get the chance to read the books that you end up needing to do for your novice path and your character creation, because you do get prompts to fulfill for those. For character creation, you need to know what race, what people that you chose. You get a prompt for that, and then for where you live or were raised, and you get a prompt for that also. So I did Skymorn, and I'm from Carador. So I had 2 different prompts to fulfill for that. And then if we take a look at the novice path, there's these different places that you go throughout the journey of the novice path, and at each spot you make a choice, and depending on what that choice is what prompt you have to fulfill. Once you have fulfilled those prompts, you will have proven your worth for the Academy, and they will accept you when you finally get there at the end. Congratulations, you're a student. Woohoo! Once you have chosen those books, like, don't worry about reading them, push them off to the side for now. Let's just focus on the TBR for August. So mine, I had to read first in a series, continuing in a series, and last in a series. So, I wanted to take it back to something that I haven't read in a really long time. Actually, like 15 years I haven't read this, but I remember it was one of my favorites. And one of the reasons is because I read it at the same time with my friend Mike, who I've mentioned before, one of my reading buddies of old. And we really enjoyed it. We really enjoyed Brent Weeks. We got to go meet Brent Weeks. He was doing this book tour. And I'm really excited to read it all again because 15 years is more than enough time to forget almost everything that happens in a story. So I'm pretty stoked about them. So here's the first book, Way of Shadows. And gosh, it's really hard to get this with the light. Don't disappear on me. Okay, that's good enough, right? Here's Shadow's Edge. This is book 2. And Beyond the Shadows. And each of these are pretty thick books, between 600 and 700 pages each. So I was already like, oh man, do I really want to do this to myself? But I was like, yes, Gib, you wimped out in April. You had the excuse of school back then, but August, it's summer break. I'm going on vacation soon. And I have really all the time in the world to be reading these books. So I'm going to really challenge myself. So collectively, these are known as the Night Angel Trilogy. They're basically about magical assassins. The world building's really cool. There's a lot of political intrigue in it, like magical prophecy in it. There's some really disturbing stuff in it. Like, life is really hard for the criminal underworld, really, and to be growing up in the criminal underworld with like no money, no resources, which is where the main character begins at. Like, just rough stuff happens. So not for the faint of heart, but really, really, really good writing. I really love Brent Weeks. He also wrote the Lightbringer series, and he's about to return, or just did return, to the universe of the Night Angel, which was like really, really hotly anticipated by fans of the Night Angel trilogy. It is a different series, so luckily these still fit for my prompt, and I'm sticking to it. So the next one I needed to do is Gemstone in the Name. So I decided to do The Diamond That Cuts Through Illusion by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's a really important one for me. It's another one that I have technically read before, but once again, like a really long time ago. And I just remember it affected me a lot. It made me think of what enlightenment is in a whole different way. And personally, I'm a sober alcoholic, and I was not sober yet when I started reading that. And for anybody with addiction issues and stuff like that, one common solution, one common way out is to join a group and practice a spiritual way of life and delve into spiritual teachings, and try to find something relevant to our life, something that we can take out of it and practice. So it'll be really cool to revisit The Diamond That Cuts Through the Illusion, aka the Diamond Sutra, and just see how my perspective has shifted and see what kind of stuff I get out of it this time around. It's gonna be really cool. I have to read a manga, so I'm hitting up Shaman King. That used to be one of my favorites. I never got to finish it, so I'm gonna start back at the beginning. I'm gonna roll through the first 3 volumes. They're all included in this omnibus here, so I'm counting that as one. And it's really good. Shaman King is all about, it's like your typical shonen manga. What they do is they're like channeling spirits in order to like partner with them and like use their power, really. and there's this, not really competition, but tournament, I guess, where the winner of it becomes the Shaman King, right? Hence the name. So it's a really neat one. If you like Naruto, if you like One Piece, it's got some similar vibes to that. So yeah, check that out. It's pretty cool. And the last one was nearly the death of me. I had to search long and hard for a book with the shield on the cover, or in the title. Like, yeah, it turns out not many books are named with shield in the title. And a lot of fantasy books I had that I was sure there's got to be a shield on that title. No shield on those titles, but there was a shield on Marvel Civil War, the novel. Captain America's shield, as a matter of fact. So, with that symbol of freedom and endurance and, hope in the American way, I'm going to read Marvel Civil War, and I'm going to see how it goes down in the novel, because should be interesting. I know it's a lot different than the movie, and it's been a long time since I read the comic, so I think there's going to be some surprises in store for me there. And I skipped one, if you'll notice, if you've been, I've skipped two, actually, if you've been reading along with me. So actually, before I hit that last one, because it's a special one for me, I'm going to be reading book 3 in the ACOTAR series, A Court of Thorns and Roses. Book 3 is called A Court of Wings and Ruin. It's like 700 pages long. I don't have the physical book. I actually have it on Kindle. So I'll be reading it on that while I'm on vacation to keep my load light. I prefer to go like super light when I'm going on a plane. I don't check in baggage. I just like, all my stuff is carry on, and that will do me good for a week and a half. Stacie actually got me into ACOTAR when we first started dating. I asked what kind of books she reads, and she's like, "Oh, you're not gonna like them. Like, they're like spicy fairy tales." And I was like, "That sounds terrific. I just want to check out like what you like. I want to see what that's like. I want to experience that with you." So you're probably sensing a theme here. I just think that's really fun, really important to bond with similar experiences, with shared experiences. So yeah, I kind of went into it thinking like, okay, spicy fairy tale, like it's gonna be filled with like romance and like broken heart stuff, like really girly stuff. There is that to some extent, but my God, is that series brutal? So much more brutal than I thought it would be. I'm not gonna give any spoilers, but like, holy heck, guys, if you haven't tried A Court of Thorns and Roses, you can talk to girls about it because like they have all read A Court of Thorns and Roses. B, they will want to know your opinion of Tamlin before and after you've read A Court of Mist and Fury, which is the second book and lauded by many to be the best. And yeah, it's a good time. It's a really great time. I do believe you'll actually probably really enjoy it. I did. And I'm really looking forward to A Court of Wings and Ruin. But last, for my birthday, possibly Christmas. Sorry, Stacie. I don't remember when because I am bad with time, but I was very, very stoked to receive this from my girlfriend Stacie. She sprays the edges of books. So I basically have like a Stacie special edition, and I'm really stoked on it. It's black. It's beautiful. It's got that sweet hardcover art, and she did it professional, guys. She's really good at this. She's actually about to open up a shop where she sells like sprayed edge books, and she curates them so they're all books that she believes in, either because of their physical beauty or because they are really great stories. So I'll probably put her stuff down there. As a matter of fact, when we were talking about what to call her business, we're like, man, what should we call it? And we couldn't really come up with anything. And then she goes, I think I'm just going to use my gamer tag. And her gamer tag is Edge of Night. And I was like, You know what? That's kind of perfect. You know, you're doing sprayed edge books, freaking Edge of Night. That's awesome. So anyway, Deadly Education is one that it hits a lot of boxes for this readathon. It is magical academia. It has one of Stacie's favorite tropes in it, villainess tropes. So it's something that I haven't personally read before. So it'll be a new experience for me, and I'll get to see what all the rage is about. So I'm pretty stoked on that. Anyway, that is my TBR. Please, down in the comments, share what your TBR is. Share all about your character. Join the Discord. Go to the channel that I set up for the Magical Readathon. Go check out G. She's a freaking genius. And take care of yourselves. Read lots of books. I counted all mine up, and I've got to somehow get through 4,000. So 4,139 pages. So yeah. I'm going to get a lot of practice trying to speed read. Actually, I think I'm going to do my first workshop on how to speed read. And I'll share that with y'all in case you end up with 4,000 or more pages as well and are wondering, how the heck am I going to read that many pages in a month? Check it out. Bye.